Thinking of transitioning into a new career with a trade school? As you transition out of a culture you're familiar with into a whole new landscape, cultural humility is one of your best tools for success. Keep watching to find out more. Cultural humility. Cultural humility consists of three components: prioritizing lifelong learning and self-evaluation, recognizing power dynamics and working to minimize imbalances, and practicing and advocating the importance of partnerships and advocacy. The backbone of cultural humility is relatively simple, at least on the face of it: asking questions and actively trying to learn from others. It means acknowledging and honoring what makes that person different. And above all, it means accepting that person for who they are. This means that cultural humility is rooted in principles like openness, self-awareness, empathy, and learning. Culture and language. However, it's important to remember that this practice is more complex than it sounds. Keep in mind the cultural iceberg. What we see, the surface culture, is just 10% of the whole iceberg. Things like food, literature, and music are all examples of surface culture. But the deep culture, the other 90% of the iceberg, is critical to cultural understanding. This includes things like communication rules, facial expressions, tone of voice, displaying emotion, body language, and conventional handling of social situations, as well as notions of friendship and courtesy, concepts of self and society, and various attitudes and approaches. Build historical awareness. It isn't enough to be aware of your own background and how it differs from someone else. Culture is built on history, which means that if you're going to navigate cultural differences, you have to build historical awareness of where that culture comes from. By recognizing and understanding cultural history, you can begin to do the humbling work of understanding someone else's perspective in a meaningful way. Implicit bias. Implicit bias is an unconscious belief, attitude, or association toward any social group. This happens because of the brain's natural tendency to seek out patterns. Unlike explicit biases like prejudice, implicit bias operates almost entirely unconsciously. However, our social conditioning plays a key role in the implicit biases we carry throughout our life. Essentially, we learn to expect certain patterns and unconsciously form them, which often translates into biases towards certain groups. While implicit bias is unconscious, you can and should become more aware of your unconscious thinking and the ways in which you unconsciously move through society. The key is to identify patterns of behavior so that you can rewrite your unconscious pattern seeking. Without it, you can't achieve true cultural openness. Outside opinions. Learning from others is one of the three pillars of cultural humility. To that end, you need to seek out and listen to outside opinions. Unfortunately, if you only listen to people who talk and think like you, groupthink kicks in and the group settles into a self-fulfilling echo chamber. If you are truly dedicated to the work of learning from others, which can at times be uncomfortable, you have to seek out perspectives that are different from yours. Then once you find those perspectives, you have to be willing to listen, especially in the uncomfortable moments when they tell you something you may not want to hear. Being humble enough to sit with that discomfort and learn how to do better is where real learning happens. If you're ready to kick off the next chapter of your life, we're here to help you get your career on target. We offer adult education programs for a variety of professional interests. That way, you can take the first step toward your professional passion. Ready to get started? Apply online today. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.